welcome back to the Numbers of Thoth, you fearless explorers of ancient mysteries. I'm Julia Herdman, and today our journey takes us deep into the Duat, the ancient Egyptian netherworld, to meet one of its most awesome inhabitants, Ammut, the devourer of the dead. Ammut was no ordinary goddess. She was a composite of raw power and righteousness. She had the crocodile's snapping jaws, the lion's regal ferocity, and the hippopotamus's brute strength. The stealthy lion preyed on the slow and weak. The crocodile snapped up the unwary on the riverbank, and the hippopotamus charged and sliced up boats with its sickle-like tusks. So together, this combination of animals formed the ultimate enforcer of divine law. The evolution of Ammut's character is inseparable from the development of the ancient Egyptian concept of the afterlife. Initially, Egyptian religion did not present a dichotomy of eternal reward or punishment. However, as theological ideas matured, the necessity for a divine arbiter of souls grew more apparent. Ammut's integration into this narrative coincided with the establishment of the now familiar ritual known as the weighing of the heart ceremony, a process that underscored the universal and timeless nature of Mat, or the principle of cosmic balance and truth. Historical records reveal that during the late Middle Kingdom, when the elaboration of funerary texts such as early versions of the Book of the Dead became increasingly widespread, depictions of magical processes involving the weighing of souls became more common. The Book of the Dead first developed in Thebes towards the end of the Second Intermediate Period, around 1700 BC. And the earliest known occurrence of the spells included in the Book of the Dead are from the coffin of Queen Mentuhotep of the 16th dynasty. Within these texts, Ammut is introduced as a fearsome creature, tasked with consuming the hearts of those deemed unworthy of entering into eternity. Her role was not merely punitive, though. It served as a deterrent, ensuring adherence to the social and moral obligations expected of every individual, especially the highborn of the kingdom. Societies throughout history have needed mechanisms to regulate individual behaviour and ensure social cohesion. Generally, two major tools, morality and force, have been used. Morality refers to culturally shared norms and ethical expectations that guide behaviour voluntarily, while force is about coercion or physical power to compel compliance. Both mechanisms serve similar functions, maintaining order, but they operate through very different psychological, social and political dynamics. The moral code of ancient Egypt was set out in the 42 negations, a list of 42 things a righteous person should not do. The elites would learn these rules as children, and so they became the foundation of society's values, as well as part of the individual's personal conscience. The huge advantage of this sort of moral control is that it's self-regulating. Once internalized, individuals police themselves, reducing the need for constant surveillance and enforcement. When people genuinely believe in their society's norms, they uphold them even without external pressure, fostering long-term societal harmony. A shared moral framework promotes trust amongst citizens, allowing for complex voluntary cooperation in projects such as public works. In Egypt, that would be things like irrigation schemes and temple development. And societies bound by internalized values like these can better survive crises or external threats, which helps to explain how Egypt was able to re-establish itself following periods of breakdown and disaster. Of course, there was a downside. Not everyone internalizes the same morality. There are always outsiders, rebels, or even sociopaths who challenge a system without effective, immediate deterrence. And societies that are overly dependent on traditional moral codes can become stagnant or oppressive. Indeed, this is often a criticism made of Egypt by modern scholars. Of course, the elites in charge can also redefine morality to suit themselves, and hence to enhance or preserve their own power, embedding injustice within supposedly sacred norms, something I think many of us would say Western societies are suffering from today. And all societies have to rely on credible threats of punishment to discourage undesirable behaviour. But overemphasis on coercion can erode individual moral responsibility, with people obeying only when watched. So most successful societies blend morality and force. And this is precisely what the ancient Egyptians did, because morality builds enduring unity, while force maintains order when morality fails. So when Anubis takes the recently deceased by the hand and places their heart, the seat of all memory and the source of life, on the scale to weigh it against the feather of Mat, if the person has lived a life of truth and harmony, never committing any of the 42 crimes against Mat, their heart rose, and the deceased was welcomed into the kingdom of Osiris for the rest of eternity. But if the person had lived a life of lies and cruelty and selfishness, if they had broken the laws of Mat, their heart sank, and Ammut struck, devouring their vile heart in one gulp, meaning there was no second chance, no last-minute reprieve, no forgiveness, just the endless, cold, silent darkness of oblivion. Ammut represented more than fear. She embodied justice, accountability, and the irreversible consequences of the choices we make. Her composite form reminds us that ignoring Mat, ignoring truth, balance and compassion leads to chaos and misery. Every Egyptian knew that Ammut was waiting for them if they were unjust. She didn't wait with anger or with fear or favour. She simply executed the divine will of the cosmos. Amazingly, for such an ancient goddess, her image continues to inspire artists, writers and creators across the world, from Marvel's Moon Knight to the novels of the Kane Chronicles. Thank you for joining me on this journey beyond the veil. If you've enjoyed today's exploration, be sure to subscribe, leave me a review, or share this podcast with a fellow seeker of ancient wisdom. You can also join me in discovering more about the gods of ancient Egypt on Patreon at the Archive of Thoth. and also on my Substack page. I've put the links in the video description. So until next time, may your heart always balance against the feather of Mat. This is me, Julia Herdman, signing off from the Numbers of Thoth.